Well, I'm back for the second half. I met our next guest, a short while ago, and after speaking with him, I was fascinated and I wanted to know more about him. I invited him on to the show, and fortunately he agreed. Here he is with his own unique story, Steve Clark. Steve!
Hey, Nancy, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Please have a seat. So thanks again for agreeing to be on the show.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, I get your bio, and there's something really interesting, and it's about your birth certificate, and it says birth certificate number 8.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
I was born in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. And at the time when my parents first went out there were very few Westerners. In fact, I think from memory, 60-odd Western families. And I was the 8th British citizen born in Dubai.
Oh, my goodness. So that's fascinating. Why were your parents there to begin with?
My father's an engineer, retired, and my mother was a teacher. And so my father went out there to build bridges and build roads and harbors, and my mum to set up schools and teach in schools.
Okay, but now you're here in Chilliwack. Dubai, Chilliwack. What's the connection?
What's the gig? Yeah. Well, having spent some 21 years working in the Middle East and as a child living there as well, I decided it was time for a change. And my parents live in Chilliwack, and I thought it was about time to spend some quality time with them and bring my son, who's now 14, into a Canadian environment and give him roots.
Okay. You have an interesting accent, so I think you've lived in a few different places.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
It's funny you say that. I just don't notice it myself.
Oh, it's yours.
I'll have to, yeah, exactly. I'll have to listen to it on the tape afterwards. I guess so. I'm sure when I was a child, I spoke with an English-British accent. And over time, being exposed to Canada, to England, France, and all my different travels, my wife, former wife, was Irish. I think that's all contributed to being a fairly mixed up accent.
Okay, so why England and why France?
Oh, okay. So in between the Middle East and Canada, did a few side trips.
Okay.
One when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I went out to England for a year and a half to live, and then went to school in the south of France.
Oh, what did you take in school?
Well, high school.
And why France? I mean, this is fascinating.
This is crazy, isn't it?
No,
Okay.
but, well, crazy good.
Well, I'll help fill in some of the little gaps if I can. So my mum is French, from France.
Okay.
So I speak French, which has been a big asset. And my father was working in Nigeria for some time, and there were no schools. And so scratched our heads and said, where can we be? And we decided south of France, or my parents did, because my mum's parents lived there.
Oh, wow.
Family always brings us back together again.
Right.
So ended up not working there, going to school there.
Was your son, you mentioned you have a son, was he born in Dubai?
He was born in Dubai, and I don't know what birth certificate number.
Now, has he traveled like you are?
He has, absolutely. Every year we'd go on summer holidays, quite often to Ireland, and he's been around, traveled on his own as well.
Wow. How does he fit in with the kids here? Who, you know, those especially who've never been outside of Chilliwack.
Yeah. Very good question. When he first came into the school, it's new, it's different, and for the first few weeks I was like, how's it going? You know, is it, you know, you like the school, you like the... I'm hanging back. He says, what do you mean hanging? He says, I'm just observing to see what's going on, right? And he did that for the first couple of months. And then he found his rhythm. He knew, you know, how to make the friends and started fitting in. So it took 2 or 3 months of adjustment. And now in his second year, going out with friends, having friends over. I mean, it was as if he's always been here.
Okay, so tell me about some of the careers you've had, or you have now. I'm not necessarily plural.
Ooh, careers. My true love has always been understanding consumers' hearts and minds and kind of bringing those together. So what does that mean? It means marketing.
Oh, okay.
Basically. Okay. So how do they think? How do they see a mug? Why do they buy what they buy? How do they feel when they buy it? And so I went into consumer marketing research. You know those guys with the clipboards and then ask you all those annoying questions?
Yes.
So that's that's how I started my career. And that took me out to the Middle East. And I've always had a love for that side of things. And as I grew my career, I ended up in some very senior leadership positions. And that love sort of morphed into coaching.
Okay.
And so that's why in Canada now, I've set up my own company, which is all about coaching leadership for performance and development.
Okay, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So basic things. I mean, when you go to university or even to school, you graduate, you got your certificate, and there are two things that universities don't do and high schools don't do. They don't teach you how to balance your bank account, and they don't teach you how to listen. It's just assumed that you know how to listen. So at an executive level and a performance level, how do you connect with people? How do you create trust? And once you've created that trust, how do you build on that? So that's a very small snippet of an example of just listening skills. And then the other performance pieces are on how do you show up, how's your presence, how's your image. Some people have some habits that don't go down well with other employees. Helping identify those blind spots, showing the mirror, have a look in the mirror, you know, in a trusting environment, and helping executives and managers move to that next level of greatness.
And Steve, I was just going to ask you about your current business that you just were talking about, but it has an interesting name. Would you like to share that, please?
It's called the 18th Camel.
The 18th Camel.
The 18th Camel Coaching and Consulting.
Okay.
I wanted a fun name. I wanted something memorable. I wanted something Middle Eastern, and I wanted something that had a story.
Okay.
And that's how I came up with it.
All right.
And it's based on a Middle Eastern gentleman who dies. And in his inheritance, he leaves 17 camels to his 3 sons. To his eldest son, he leaves half. To his middle son, he leaves a third. And to his youngest son, he leaves a ninth. All pretty complicated, but everybody knows, how do you divide 17 by a half? So the 3 brothers argued for a long time and trying to figure it out. And luckily for them, they came across the wise woman in the village who listened, asked lots of questions, and at the end suggested to them, how about you take one of my camels? And the boys said, would you do that for us? And they said, absolutely. So the eldest son got half of 18, 9. The middle son got a third of 18, which is 6. And the youngest son got a ninth of 18, which is 2. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 2 is 17. And that's how you divide 17 camels. And so, yeah, I'm glad you like it.
It is very interesting. I love it for sure.
Well, it kind of epitomizes what my business is about. It's helping people see their blind spots, helping people overcome assumptions. They were making assumptions that it couldn't be done.
Right.
And that's what coaching is all about. It's about helping people see different perspectives.
I like that. That's very clever.
Yeah? Okay.
And
good.
I
Thank
really
you.
like that. Okay, so now we're going to just talk about some things that I didn't quite understand in your bio. What is a C-suite?
C-suite, a chief financial officer, a chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief information officer. These are the senior people in the business who run companies. And I was the CEO for many years.
Now, there was one other one, if I can find it here. I had to do, okay, what does the E stand for in UAE?
Emirates.
Okay, so can you tell us what UAE stands for?
So United Arab Emirates.
Emirates. Okay.
Emirates. And so there are different Emirates that make
Right.
up the United Arab Emirates, much like Canada. Different provinces make up Canada.
What about, what about hobbies? Do you have any?
Photography used to be a big one, and I'm beginning to pick it back up again. So I just bought myself a brand new zoom lens, start taking advantage of all the birds that fly around here. So I like landscapes and taking pictures of landscapes.
You just mentioned the birds now. In Dubai, is there a lot of bird life there?
There's no.
No, and it's because of the basically.
There are small ones, but nothing major other than falcons.
Oh, okay.
So you don't see them flying wild, but they're prized possessions for the Arabs that use them for hunting.
Oh.
So on planes,
Yes.
I've been on planes where I'm sitting sort of the 3 rows and then another 3 and another 3 on the plane, and the 3 rows taken up by falcons.
Really?
They're traveling with the falcons. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
I just want I'm fascinated by the fact that you lived in Dubai, so I hope you don't mind I keep going back
Not
to
at
it.
all.
I'm just wondering about lifestyle there compared to here. Sure. Can you just tell me some of the similarities or some of the differences?
It's night and day. It's an expat environment, it's a tax-free environment, and it's a 24/7 environment. So everybody's working all the time.
Right.
And a lot of people have maids, so it's fairly common practice. A lot of people have a personal driver, fairly common practice. I didn't, on the driver front at least. And people tend to live more of a 5-star lifestyle, if you will, because everything in Dubai is 5 stars.
Okay.
And Chilliwack, you don't have to work 24/7. It's much more relaxed, people are more friendly, and you get to have some quality time. So very different in terms of dynamic.
So how do they feel about Westerners?
Here's a surprising fact you don't know, and I'll share it with you. In Dubai itself, 10% of the population are local people from the country.
Okay. Oh.
90% are foreigners.
Wow.
From all over the world.
Wow.
So to answer your question,
yeah,
they're accepting of everybody.
Right. I think I'm going to go there. I like the tax-free part.
The tax-free part is it is expensive.
Oh. Okay.
So.
Well, I could meet like a sugar daddy, right?
Yeah, a sugar shake?
I don't know what a sugar shake is.
Well, the sheikhs are the rulers of the countries. So a sheikh means landowner.
Oh, okay. See that? I'm just learning all kinds of stuff with you. Do you have time to do anything else?
Squash.
Squash? You play squash?
I play squash.
Okay. It was either playing squash or picking squash. So
Well, no, not picking squash.
Okay, well, I just...
Definitely pick myself off the floor sometimes. That's how it feels. But squash I play as well. So I had my first game in about 4 months yesterday, last night, because I've been traveling a fair amount. I haven't been able to get it in.
Right.
So that's been keeping me entertained.
Oh, that's really great.
And there are a good group of people here in Chilliwack too.
Oh.
Some fantastic players.
That's really nice. And listen, you've been so fascinating, and I appreciate you being here. And unfortunately, we're out of time.
Okay.
But that's how it goes.
Yeah,
right?
that's the way it goes.
Yeah, so maybe another time.
I hope so.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, you can contact us on Shaw, or you can view us on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.